Hey everybody, this is the Real Quaid. We have another special edition battle for you. This is ChocolateBowtie's Dark Flying Gym. He's facing Faaln in this one, so we got the video on the emulator for you, so I'll do some commentary as I usually do. So we look at Choc's team using the Honchkrow as the Dark Flying type to get his wild card, which he uses as Arcanine. Very uncommonly used Pokemon, but I think he's one of my favorites. I think he's really solid overall. He's got great stats. He's got great abilities, Intimidate, Flash Fire. A couple different ways you can build him, so always a solid choice. He's got a Zoroark as well, one of my favorites. Again, Zapdos is always a good choice. So his team is pretty well balanced, I think. Faaln's team, he's got a lot of very common threats. Actually, I don't know if Flygon is still an OU. But the other 5 are definitely an OU, so it's an entirely overused team. So we'll just get this one started here, and we'll see what happens. So this is actually a relatively short battle. I don't want to spoil it for you, but you can probably see the duration length at the end here. So Faaln leads with his Tentacruel, probably to get something set up, maybe some Toxic Spikes. And Choc leads with his Zapdos, so already at a mismatch here. Faaln does have Flygon he can switch to absorb Thunderbolt, but he opts not to. I think maybe he just wanted to get the Toxic Spikes up. I don't know if he knew that Tentacruel would survive this. Just barely does. Because he doesn't have a Focus Sash, so I don't know if that's the highest that it could be, and that he knew there was absolutely no way of one-shotting it, but very risky play in my opinion. But it ended up working out. He got the Toxic Spikes out there. So he goes for the Protect, maybe to get an extra turn of recovery. But of course the Thunderbolt will not work. But he still is keeping Tentacruel in, which is another. I'm not sure what his reasoning behind that was. So Tentacruel is going to fall here. He did get the Toxic Spikes up, so if that was the goal of Tentacruel, then he did accomplish that. But he goes into his Cloyster now. Another interesting choice, because Cloyster is weak to Thunderbolt, and his special defense is awful. I figured it could be a good play if he's got a Focus Sash into the Shell Smash, but he doesn't, so it's basically fodder for Zapdos. Zapdos is going to one-shot that with incredible ease. Cloyster's base speed isn't very high, so even if he did outspeed him, he wasn't going to be able to. There was no way he's going to outspeed Zapdos. So here comes the Flygon. This is, in my opinion, this should have been turn 1, basically what ended up happening. So it goes for the. I'm assuming he's Scarfed. Gets the Outrage, does pretty good damage to Zapdos. Zapdos is able to survive. It comes back with Hidden Power, assuming it's Ice. And the damage to Flygon will really suggest that it is Ice. So, I mean, the only types it could be based on Flygon's typing are either Ice or Dragon, and Hidden Power Dragon's a little silly in my opinion. So, Zapdos did great work, knocked out 3 Pokemon without problems. So, Choc goes for the Honchkrow, Faaln goes for his Dragonite. So, Choc tried to get a Sucker Punch in, didn't work. Dragonite's going to set up on him. So he's going to enjoy a free Dragon Dance here. So Choc's going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage here. Dragonite's going to get another Dragon Dance in. So we'll see. Chocolate goes in this time for the Brave Bird. Try to get some damage on him. Break the multi-scale. Try to threaten Dragonite and say, hey, come at me, please. So he does about half damage to him. He takes a little bit of recoil. Dragonite's going to heal off a little bit of it with leftovers, so we'll see what his choice is now. And then Choc makes a great prediction for the Sucker Punch. Honchkrow, now that the multi-scale is broken, Sucker Punch will do more damage, and Dragonite goes down. So crisis averted for Honchkrow. Definitely do not want to underestimate the pimp of the Pokemon world. He's got a lot of options. So Faaln goes for Scissor. I'm assuming Choc was expecting a Bullet Punch, but he doesn't. He's got a Swords Dance Scissor, so Swords Dance is going to enjoy some free turns of setup as well. So now he's going to go for the Bullet Punch, and there's no way that Honchkrow is going to survive this. Now, personally, on my Honchkrow, when I played with him, I ran a Heat Wave on him. I know the metagame is a little bit different now. Honchkrow has become much more physical now that it has Moxie, but I still personally would still run it just in the case like this where you're going to go up against the Scissor and get walled pretty effectively. And that's not specifically Scissor either, it's pretty much all steel types Honchkrow is going to really struggle against. So if you want to abuse Moxie, you're going to need ways to get around those. But Choc goes into his Arcanine. He's going to take pitiful damage from Scissor, resistant to the Bullet Punch after the Intimidate as well. And he's going to come at him with a super duper effective Flare Blitz. There's no way Scissor's going to survive this. Arcanine's attack is quite high, and with the double weakness, not much he could do about that. So he does take pretty good recoil damage. He is poisoned from the Toxic Spikes, which that'll take effect. And now Faaln goes for his Lucario. I believe this is his last Pokemon, so Arcanine goes for the Extreme Speed on Lucario. I'm sure it was just to get some additional damage and maybe break a Focus Sash. So Lucario in turn goes for the Extreme Speed on Arcanine. So we can see that Arcanine will naturally outspeed Lucario. Could be interesting information for when they have a little rematch action. So Choc goes for his Dragonite now. Somehow he gets poisoned. I'm not sure why. I don't know if he's carrying like an Iron Ball or something. A very unusual series of events on this one, so I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just remarking. I don't know what his set is, so I'm just going to me, that stands out, but finishes him off with a Flamethrower, no problem. So, relatively easy victory for ChocolateBowtie, repping the Dark Flying Gym pretty well, so we'll have to see more battles from him, hopefully coming up here soon. So, as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.